Self-sabotage is really the root of so many of our own problems. And it's not because we're choosing and consciously, we want to do a lot of different things. We may want to stop drinking or lose weight or just eat healthier or just we just want to be our best selves. And so self-sabotage is kind of this you versus you where you're still kind of kept down. And I wouldn't say it's just you versus you though. I'd say that it's really you and versus this kind of conditioning. And sure, that is you, and sure it is kind of a conscious mind versus subconscious mind thing too, because you can consciously have all these hopes and dreams, and then your subconscious is actually like, we would actually like to stay low because that's safe. Like your subconscious mind is kind of your survival self. That's kind of, it's scanned visuals and kind of cultural cues, and it's scanned your trauma. It's got all of that memory, and it's kind of got its own mind, which is saying, let's be safe, let's be safe. And so that's what self-sabotage comes down to, is you want to do something, but your subconscious mind actually feels threatened and scared to do that. And we also see this even with romantic choices. Our conscious mind wants a kind, thoughtful, empathic guy, and then our subconscious is like, I would love to make that rogue asshole mine. I'd love to like tame the beast, or I don't know. That whole archetype is another video, honestly. But yeah, so the key to overcoming self-sabotage is going to be about your subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind, the thing about it is it's not as though you could easily retrain it. It just goes by the prevalence of images and sounds and exposures it encounters. But it's always actually it may have PTSD, it may have trauma, but it generally can be rewired to be, if your present thoughts are good, your subconscious mind will go along for the ride. And that's why they have studies that say, oh, well, you need gratitude lists and writing affirmations really help reprogram your subconscious mind. And so my particular quick and easy hack is really putting affirmations around your house and in your passwords. Now, we always talk about writing affirmations on a page, like, I am strong, I will lose weight, or I don't know what, any number of things you can put. The ones I like to do, actually, I'll share mine, is I like to say every day and in every way, I'm getting better and better. That's an affirmation that's uplifting, broad, and really focused toward that growth mindset instead of that stagnant mindset. And it's not powerless. It's like, I can create my own reality. I can create every day. I'm progressing and I'm getting more self-aware and I'm growing and evolving, instead of being like, oh, well, because this happened, I'm gonna never do, nothing ever good can happen after that. So, but however you're going to program your subconscious mind, reprogram it, is I say putting the affirmations around your house is just, it's like if you're in the bathroom before you go to bed, as you wake up, those are good times to see these messages, because that's when you're kind of in that theta brain state, which is that's what the subconscious operates in. Like from ages 0 to 7, we were in a theta state, which was that we're just absorbing, that's why we're so imaginative when we're little. It's that time as you wake up before you go to bed, and then when you're a kid. That is a great thing. That's why they have a lot of hypnosis and types of frequency music for your subconscious mind, because the sleep state, you're kind of really, it's subconscious mind land. So anyway, I understand if you think it's kind of hokey to be putting affirmations up, because if somebody uses your bathroom and sees something that says, I am a best-selling author, I would cringe at that. But it's just really more for you. If you're alone, if you're in quarantine, if you're just if you have certain spots that are just yours only, like your car, whatever it may be, and then passwords are all a good one because you're the only one seeing that. But you always have to type. If you always have to type in, "I am inspiring," or whatever it is, "I am a best-selling author," you are telling your subconscious brain, "This is my identity, and this is where we're going to go." And we're not going to be marinating in, "I am a worthless nothing," because that's kind of where your subconscious mind is. Because our subconscious mind is kind of it's absorbing messages from culture, and our culture really says you're powerless and you should be afraid. I mean, that's really what we get. We turn on the news and we go on the internet, even the notifications we get, "Oh, you're powerless and you need to listen to us." And so self-sabotage and is not like that. This is where we come back to the self and this kind of, is it self versus self? In a lot of ways, because the predominant messages we get are, why don't you just marinate in your victimhood? I mean, that's one message we get. We also get victimhood makes people feel sorry for you and give you more connection. You actually get a lot of connection from being powerless. And so it's in itself a hack. I'm not saying that, of course, connection and talking about our problems and our the struggles we face is so important, and I think that's a good part of society, and I think the connection that comes from that is very impactful. But I think that if we are inundated and surrounded by by people and media and situations that tell us that our powerlessness and our fear is really the default state, then I think we kind of are in that default state. And then the other images we get from culture are, have constantly coffee and wine. I mean, you never see so much of that. That's probably the single most, perpetrated image is coffee. Coffee is the elixir of life. And then after, at night, have red wine. And so that's kind of the cues we get. And those you can say all kinds of things about them, but what they come down to is, they come down to saying that these are the elixirs of life and this is what you should do. And so you put that fear, you put that worry, and then you put the solutions as coffee and wine. And I just think that that's just falling short. And that kind of leads to its own self-sabotage, because see, if you try to stop drinking caffeine or alcohol, you almost feel like you're making a huge decision to leave the tribe, the human tribe. And we're more tribal than we would admit. We all think that we cannot be fooled and we're individuals, but the truth is humans are very much tribal people. And so the self-sabotage isn't just subconscious versus conscious. It's actually conscious, subconscious versus the conditioning of society. Because we've got all kinds of people who really benefit from our powerlessness. And so the wine and coffee marketing mixed with our kind of underlying feeling of, I don't really want to put this in my body. I'm kind of sick of this pick your poison culture. I'm kind of sick of how it's just kind of an assumed part of my life, when really I'm not sure if those substances kind of put me in a fight or flight, which then puts me in that limbic, that emotional, that again, fear brain. And so what this all comes down to is the quick and easy hack I'm talking about, without all this blah blah blah, is what can you put in your home that's an empowering message and that says you will overcome and grow. And I think that's affirmations that could level on, maybe an affirmation like, I always have money for healthy food. I always think this is important because, again, going back to that conditioning, we actually are more conditioned to think that it's better to spend money on 2 bottles of wine than a bunch of broccoli and cauliflower. Why? Our subconscious mind, which is just taking in images, we don't have images that are glorifying somebody that's in a bikini having broccoli and cauliflower. You don't see that. They will usually have cheese and wine and coffee and biscotti. You know, they're not going to be glamorizing vegetables. And that's the thing, when we're at the grocery store, we think, oh, well, I'm making my decisions to buy what food I want with my conscious mind. Well, no, you actually will more likely, your subconscious mind and your feelings will say, well, we're going to have these, we're going to get some red wine because we've been completely like pummeled with images that say that's the elixir of life and that the herd likes it, and that's what we've absorbed that. And so there's a good amount of, there's so much stacked against you to self-sabotage and to get certain things in your decision making over others. And actually you have to have those affirmations that say, hey, actually, you know, I actually do have money for healthy food and I want to, that's a priority. So you have to like tell yourself that, and you even almost have to take a picture of a hot woman scarfing down broccoli and cauliflower in order for your mind to be like, that's so desirable. Because we're not going to get that. We're not going to get messages that are necessarily empowering. And you can certainly find people who do give those messages, but it's self-sabotage. It's like, it goes deep. It goes deeper than you versus you. Anyway, so try this hack. It may resonate, it may not. You can do ones that have to do with also just your career aspirations. Like, I know Scott Adams, who is, he's a Periscope political commentator now, but he used to write down, I will be a well-renowned comic, or it was something maybe best-selling. I'm not sure what word he used, but he would write that as an affirmation every day, and he became, indeed, a comic strip artist of Dilbert. And in his book, which I do recommend, it's called How to Fail at Everything and Still Win Big. Really, it's such a great self-help book because it just has details that you don't always get, not the same old kind of, it's not even as spiritual as it sounds with the affirmations. It's like quirky. It's about losing his voice and all kinds of interesting lessons. But anyway, so whatever your affirmations say, mine kind of focus on manifestation and career. They also really have to do with emotional resiliency. So we're going to need to do that. We're going to need that kind of empowerment, emotional resiliency, manifestation. And so, you know, make these affirmations, post them around your house, get them in those spots that are strange, like when you're on the toilet, when you're like kind of by your bed as you wake up, and on the way out, like the door you leave, the car. Like, these are spots that you can get your subconscious and just kind of fill it with some more nutrient-dense messages rather than the same old messages that say, you know, there's so much to be fearful of, and there's so much you can't do about it. But we just listen to us. Yeah, just get away from that and fill your home with these affirmations and make your passwords these affirmations and see what you think. It may resonate, it may not. You'll probably have to hide them when friends come over. I immediately like rip them off and hide them because I do not want people to know. I mean, it's just for me and my subconscious mind. It's not open to judgment. Anyway, I hope this helps.